Hello everybody, it's Knowledge Onuoha again from Insights. Today I've got my friend who's going to be sharing his life experience with us, something that is unique to very few people in the UK, something I believe will inspire you, a life lesson. So let's start. Please, can you introduce yourself to our audience?
My name is Dalton Emmanuel Fajimi, and originally from Nigeria. Well, now, like I say, I'm British now, so that's my story. I live in Birmingham and I work remotely now. That's what everybody's doing, so which is a good thing.
Interesting. So what brought you to the UK in the first place?
I came originally to school. I came to the country with my younger brother. We came to do our postgraduate a couple of years ago, and it's been interesting. So I was working in a bank. I resigned my bank job to kind of start in the UK a new, fresh life. And that was the original plan. And I said to myself, I was going to come, get my master's, then work for like 2 years, see how things go. If it doesn't work, maybe we'll go back and kind of. But I knew from a very young age I was going to live in this country.
And how many years ago was that? When was that?
When I came to the country?
Yeah.
I came here in 2002.
Interesting. So the reason I asked that question is a lot of I've lived in the UK for about 10, 11 years now. Now, a lot of my British friends don't understand the sacrifice we immigrants make and how much we pay to come to the UK. So how much did you pay for your school fees to come here and study? How much did you bring in Naira and converted and left in this economy?
Tuition fees then was 7,500 for masters. And I remember having 12 admissions to 12 different universities.
Amazing.
But for one reason, my mind chose Coventry University to go. I had Birmingham University, I had Oxford. I have so many universities to actually go, but it was Coventry I actually wanted to go because number one, I had two friends that were actually living there. One was actually in undergraduate and the other one was actually working because he studied in Aberdeen, so he moved to Coventry to work. So I like a perfect place. I got a space. I stayed with him for about 2 weeks. And in that building where he lives, there was a spare room which I was paying about £50.
You were lucky. That was cheap.
It was those days.
In my time, I paid about 17,500 for my masters, and home students were paying £3,000 for the same course. I think my accommodation was about £350 per month, which was about just over 80 quid or thereabout per, or just under 80 quid per week. Yeah. So interesting. So after you finished studying. Why did you stay back? Why didn't you go back to Nigeria?
Like I said, when I left, I didn't have any job to go back to anymore. Though if I go, I could have actually gotten back a job because I have another qualification and all that. But I knew I had to go, I had to move forward because when I left there, I burned on the bridges. I said I was going to move forward. And that was the idea. And I wasn't planning on coming back or going back to Nigeria. As a young boy, at the age of 9, my aunt bought me a book. She used to live in England then. I still have the book. I brought the book to England. The book is called The Kings and Queens of England. And I read that book as a little boy and I said, how nice would it be to live in this kind of country? To experience that kind of life, the kingship and the monarchy and all that. Even today, I still like the monarchy. So I devoured that book. I would love to live in this country. And that's where the interest started.
Came from.
Yeah, exactly. So I wanted to actually live and be in this country.
Okay, which is interesting. So it is one thing to be able to come to the UK to study and you did your master's. It is another thing to be able to stay in the country after studying and then become a citizen after so many years. So talk me through that process. Where were the challenges? What did you have to do? Now, the reason I'm trying to get into the details of this is because there are lots of people out there, a lot of my audience, who think, traveling abroad, the UK, US, will change their life, and they are working hard to just take that first step. Now, taking that first step is one thing, but between that first step to where you are, you must have faced numerous challenges. Talk me through that, please.
Very good thing. When we came, we'd finished the program, which was very good. We had a degree, we had a master's. So we got to the particular point where we became overqualified. Because you find out that people that you're actually applying for a job. I remember even applying for a job with McDonald's. They didn't even actually come back to me.
I had similar experience, by the way.
So the first set of jobs I remember that was kind of good that I had was working as a waiter in an hotel, Aston Court Hotel in Coventry. And the manager was Brenda. The guy was so nice, and he asked me about my experience. You know, everybody said, "Oh, I worked as a customer service before because I was working in a bank as an auditor." So coming from as an auditor, working as a waiter, very good.
A smooth transition.
Oh, it was a kind of shift. So you have to put plates on your hands and serve. So I learned the art of customer service, which was very good, you know. And again, we were able to serve people, talk to people, take orders, take requests, and then send it to the company. It was quite good then, and the experience. And we get to have dinner at the end of the shift. And they give us tip £2, £3, £4. You know, you could buy things.
Which should be a lot of money at the time.
It was quite a lot. It wasn't that much, but I was content. I was happy with that kind of money, and it was very, very good. And I wasn't living very far from where I live, so once you come out of my door, where I was living, the hotel I was working was about 3 minutes walk. No, that's a 3 minutes, 30 seconds walk.
Surely not.
Very, 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 very close by.
So you weren't spending anything on transportation?
No, at all. There was food, dinner at the end of the day, which was quite good. So the experience was quite good then, and it lasted for a while, but you needed more things. You wanted to use your qualification. So you go to our street recruitment agency, and they'll tell you that, oh, you're qualified, but you don't have the UK experience.
You don't have the UK experience.
How do you
get the experience when you've been in school? You don't get experience studying.
You know, so we were building on that. Then I got another job working as customer service agent with PCMS, the company was called. I think they still exist in Birmingham, and in Coventry. So the company was actually managing, taking orders for co-op stores. So they call in, so we're managing requests. That was the thing that actually built my experience. Customer service experience in this country is very, very important.
Absolutely.
People want to go to that.
Because everything we're doing live is customer service, you know, being able to relate, interact with people, meet them at the point of their needs. And that's what life is about, isn't it?
I came to the country with an accent. So we come in, so we need to listen to people. So you come, listen to people's requests, process their orders, talk to them, and everything. So that's where the confidence started coming to listen to work with them, and then help them, talk to them through how to do. So that was the starting point. And I said, you know, so some people do go to care. And I said that customer experience is something that was it's very vital.
After you finished studying, you probably had to do the live in the UK test, you know, to show that you have adapted to the way of life, the culture of the people, you understand the people. To show that you've not just lifted yourself from Nigeria and imposed yourself here, to show that you've made that transition before they give you indefinite leave to remain, before they even then give you citizenship, you know. And how did you transition from that point, where you came Nigerian full-blown, all-blooded, you know, hustle, everything, to a point where you are now the calm British, you know, citizen you are?
Jesus, in the book of life, Jesus said something. He said, sometimes you need to take some things down. You need to drop some things and take some new things. You need to take off the old coat and bring on. Paul even said it. Drop the old coat and bring on a new one. Sometimes you need to drop some old habits
in order to create a new one.
Exactly, because you're in a new environment. Whatever work back where you're coming from and not work here, you need to realize that. You need to catch what is there. You go, if you are in Rome, behave like a Roman. So those kind of things, you need to drop some things and actually bring on a new one, so that because you're able to adapt. Not that you're going to leave your old character, because you have a background. Don't get me wrong, but kind of blend it with whatever you have here, so that you can become something new, someone better. We need to be on a continuous improvement. Volvo said they are always evolving. I mean, evolving means gradual change. See, we become what we are now. So you need to get to that stage where you actually bring something new and then adapt, blend things together to become who you are and become something new. So, and that's what we're working on. And I remember in those days when we're looking for work, I got to an agency. They said, the guy saw me, said, you can't go, from the way you're looking, you look kind of prim and proper. Because I'm a banker. I have this professional outlook. They send me to work in Walker's factory. That was my first.
You look too soft to be in that place.
I didn't last one day. they sent me back home at 12:15.
What time did you resume?
We resumed around 6. I was still working on it. They said, no, you don't belong here. This is not your environment. This is not your scene. And I knew, actually, because this factory wasn't my thing. But I knew I was more called for mental work.
But you needed to make ends meet.
Then I tried another one. We're working with Onda in Coventry as well. I was welding the wrong part to another thing. This girl said, no, the guy, you need to leave. You don't belong here. So,
how did you when you apply for a job because you believe you can do it, and then you start doing it, and then someone turns to you and says you don't belong here, how did you manage to take that, and make sure it did not hit you down and depress you? How did you take it positively to reinvent yourself and say it as, oh, it's a good advice rather than someone trying to pull you down?
Most people don't get this thing. There's a book called Criticism is a Gift, and I read it some time ago. If you criticize me now, I won't get offended. I'll even thank you because you give me a gift.
Yeah, because a lot of people, the reason I ask that question, a lot of people, when you give them feedback and tell them, say, no, you're not cut out for this life, they think you're talking down at them, or you think you are kind of undermining them, or, you've evaluated them and you've kind of downplayed them. But some people look at it and look at the truth, because in a lot of these feedbacks, there are truth in it. And take that feedback to reinvent themselves to who they really want to become or find their gifts. But from what you've said, looking at where you were and where you are today, of course, you must have used those feedback to reinvent yourself and reshaped yourself to where you are today. And I'm trying to get to, how did you dig into that mental state, that deeper inner person of yourself that did not just take it, on the surface, or it made me feel this way. It made me feel that way. And actually, is there truth in this? Okay, there is truth in this. What do I need to do differently? And is this who I really want to be? Or do I need to reinvent and reshape myself and my future? And that's what I'm trying to understand.
Most people see us better than we see ourselves.
I like that one.
And if you are very objective towards yourself and see the word, whatever they're saying, there's always a truth in it.
Because you cannot see the picture when you're in the frame.
Always take time to analyze what people are saying about you. And there's always sometimes truth in what they're saying. But because people don't want to actually look at themselves objectively, they're like, you're criticizing me. I don't want to see that person. Take that as a gift. Compliment, criticism, they are all gifts. But we like compliment that are suiting us. And that's what we all want to work with. People that are brutal about whatever they see, they are very nice to you, but people don't look that way. And that is when the enlightenment of heart comes in. That's what God gives Solomon. Ability to take all information and evaluate it and look at it on a level playing field. And these things, evaluate and think about, I need to work with this and roll with it as well. Because if you don't use those kind of information to better yourself, you will never progress. So what is you're good about? Find out that that's not my place. That's not my sin. So where am I going to be placed? Where am I better placed? I found out I was better with office work. I was better with work that I use my mind. Apparently, that's what I've been built for over the years. My father would tell me that you need to read, you need to read. That's what brought me to this level. It was by books that you understood. Paul said, I understood by books. But the right revelation that you need to get. Some people are good with handyman. I bless them. And there's a friend I was trying to work with. He came to this country. I tried to get me an office job, but it wasn't good. But it was manual job he was good at. Let him do it.
So basically, it's just a true evaluation of your skills, your expertise, knowing yourself. Because, I understand what you've said and I agree with you. However, let me throw you a curveball here. Now, in order to try and, evaluate and look at what people say, those feedback, sometimes we get people who give you certain things that you don't even know if they are feedbacks or criticism. You don't even understand where they are going, where it's coming from, where it's going to. Now, do you spend time deliberating and thinking about everything said by everybody? Or how do you filter who you listen to, who you take to heart, their feedback, and work on it? Because some people just open their mouth and spill anything. They just talk for talking's sake.
Everybody in life, crazy, mad, good, they're all teachers. Listen to them. But not everybody you have to take their advice.
So you listen to everybody, but you don't have to apply what everybody says.
You need to listen.
You need to then go back and reevaluate what they've said and say, is it applicable? Is it for me or not for me?
You need to evaluate it.
That's powerful. That's powerful.
Never discount everybody.
That's powerful. So basically, you were able to come through that point at your life, yeah, because you had the ability within you to do true evaluation, true reflection, and you knew yourself, yeah, you knew your strengths, and you knew your weakness, and you knew that of a truth, that area wasn't an area of strength. Interesting. Now, I want to, let me throw you this one. You know, between the time when you got your citizenship, or between the time you left uni after studying here and you got your citizenship, there was a time when the Home Office asked you to leave the country and wanted you to go back to Nigeria. Talk me through that.
It was, I think I made an application because I was a student and we're doing application to stay in the country. I was doing so many other courses. I went to University of Lincoln to do masters in marketing and all that. And then went to Coventry College to do some certificate in marketing as well, PGD in marketing. So we're doing some, so for you need back to college just to continue to stay in the country. Like most people are just to have this 10-year content education. That's what so there was this particular year I made an application. I was meant to submit my application, but I was working in a factory back in Coventry around Rugby. And because of my shift as a security officer, I couldn't get to the post office to post in time. So application got to Home Office a day late.
Oh, okay.
So that was the ground in which the Home Office stepped on and said, we're not going to renew application because everything was fine. I was in school. I was just working. Well, that was the ground in which they said, we're going to reject you. And I sent it back. So we were back and forth for about 6-7 years.
Whoa!
Oh no, I didn't go.
Yes, you mean?
Yeah, because it was that same year. I said before the application, I determined I was going to stay in the country. I wasn't going to go back to Nigeria again. Yeah, because initially I was dilly-dallying, but the moment you make a decision that this is it, I'm not going to go back again. Guess what? There's going to be a storm that will rise. Storm do rise when you make a decision.
When you decide that it's time to get to the next level in life, it's always the case. It feels like you've just awoken every devil everywhere. And they'll come, okay, let's put that decision to a test.
Storm will always rise.
So what was your mental state in between these 6-7 years whilst we were going back and forth with the Home Office?
When they told me to leave, because I was determined in my mind I wasn't going to leave. So we're sending application back and forth. Got lawyer involved, application, everything.
This must have been costing money.
Oh yes, everything. So money is one thing. The cost of it is determination.
The emotional elements, you know, being unsettled, not knowing what tomorrow holds, if you're going to Nigeria, if you're going to be in the UK. Basically, it was like you were not in control anymore of your future. When
you are fully determined to get something, have this dogmatic attitude in life. That is me. Once you're determined to get something or to go for something, everything that you actually that come your way now becomes a stepping stone. There's a book, Obstacle is the Way. It talks about how obstacle that you face in life become your stepping stone to life. Because if you don't look at that, you're like, oh man, there's something I find at me. I found out these were obstacles.
See, one man's challenge, one man's obstacle is another man's opportunity. So it's all about how you see it.
It was a turning point for me. So we were back and forth. We went to court, we went to tribunal, everything. They were joining fronts together. So the judge treated like, hey, this guy has a case. He's working, he's contributing anyway. Why do you want to actually say that you should go back? Because I was determined. People don't hold on for that long. Most people have actually left. I know friends that went.
So one, you were persistent, you were determined to stay. And you were convinced, you know, you did the right thing. Because you just said something there. You went to tribunal, you went to court, and the judge looked at your situation and said, oh, this guy is contributing to society, so you have no grounds why you want him to go, besides the fact that his application came in 1 day late. Now, which means if you had broken the law, if you had not lived within the law, if you had not done what you needed to have done, up to that point, it would have been more than one strike. So you had only one strike, which could have been overlooked, which was overlooked at the end of the day, that it was just 1 day late. But assuming you've broken the law or you've not lived within the law, the judge would have had even more grounds or a ground to say, send him home. Yeah. Am I right?
Yeah. See, the decision I made to stay, which is the first thing we need to know, the decision you make in life, orders the turn of your life.
T.D. Jakes once said, there's nothing as strong as a made-up mind.
If I was made up,
T.D. Jakes said, once you make up your mind.
I was ready for whatever is going to come. If I was going to stay in this country for 20, 30 years, I made up my mind I was going to get it. Because Hernando Curtis, when they went to South America on an expedition, they got to there and they saw that you know what they did? They burned the ship that brought them.
And said, no going back.
At that point where I've already burned my ship. I knew I burned the ship, that I wasn't going to go back.
We're all in, this is it.
Not that people were expecting to kill me, like people say, oh, they're going to kill me in a year, they're going to kill me back in if I go back. No, that wasn't my case. I made up my mind I wasn't going back until I settled this country. Because I remember that my 9-year-old, when I was 9 years old, as a 9-year-old boy, I said to myself, that is where I want to go.
And now you're here, you cannot go back.
No!
It is forward
where
ever.
do you want to go to? That monster is going to go, where do we want to go to? Everybody is gone now. You have the word of life. We're not going anywhere. This is where we're going to go. That decision was a turning point. So it's there for me to be consistent, persistent.
Surely in all of this, there were nights where, it felt like your world was ending. Because as humans, we sometimes find the emotional part of us. There were days where I felt like everything was crashing. And we live in a world today where most people don't know how to handle those days, those nights, those difficult moments. And every time they face it, they feel like it is unique to them. That they live in a different world and we live in a world of milk and honey. Help me talk to my audience. How you navigated those dark nights that I felt like it was never going to dawn. Those difficult moments where you felt like, oh, everything was crashing. Because I promise you, I've had some similar experience where there have been nights where I've cried like most of my audience cry. I've been heartbroken like most people out there have been heartbroken. And I believe the same has been, you've been disappointed too. Like most people out there have been disappointed. But how did you navigate through this? What did you hold on to? How did you build yourself to a place that you were strong mentally, emotionally? And how did you convince yourself that, in the end, you will be fine?
I have goals. I make lists of things I want to achieve. Goals help me a lot. Once I have it written down, or when I can say, this is what I want to achieve, it kind of helped me quite a lot. And because, like I said, I'm very dogmatic. Whatever I've actually set out to do, nothing can really stop me. The only thing that can stop me
is you.
Unless Jesus comes tonight. That's the only thing that can stop me from getting that goal. Whatever I need, the resources that we need, like Anthony Robbins said, are not the things that are outside. They are the things that money cannot buy. If money is your problem, any problem that money can solve, it's not a problem at all. No.
The book of life says, all that you need to succeed in life, I have given unto you.
Thank you. So money was not a problem to actually stay in the country. It wasn't about money. But the ability to able to hold on to whatever you believe. And I said, this is my land. Because what I did, guess what?
Come on now.
I did one thing one day. Out of my process, there's some processing that you do. See, the process of setting this up, people don't see it. They just say that to me. But the process that you did to actually set this thing up, people don't see behind the scene.
The work is done behind the scene.
I took up my shoe one particular night at midnight. I started walking my streets, declaring, prophesizing. Because the Bible says, whatever the sole of your feet, it didn't say the sole of your shoes, shall tread that I've given unto you. The sole of your feet, not your shoes. So took the shoes off, walking around like I proclaim, then you claim.
You call those things that are not as if they were and they came to life.
You'll be declaring and proclaiming, but this is my land. I am not going. This is what the Lord has asked me. So you say those kind of things to yourself. And then, once you've declared to the morning, continue your normal life. But what you do, another interesting thing, don't let me forget this. The very first time I got a letter from Home Office that I should leave, guess what I did? This is the turning point. It was the programming thing.
Talk to me.
When I got that letter that day, and do you know what? I was actually been praying, fasting, just kind of, because I know things were going for that thing. And when the letter came, I opened the letter, because your first reaction when anything happens to you is going to be it was going to be continuous through that journey, that process.
Someone said to me,
I went on that. No. I went on my knees, brother. I went on my knees and I said, Father, thank you for my indefinite leave to remain. And the letter says I should leave the country. So sometimes it is the report and how you receive that news. Because they're not bad news. They're all just news.
They're news. See, let me call you here. It was Eric Thomas, E.T., that said, something has got to lead. When faith leads, everything that follows is faith-related. When fear leads, everything that follows is fear-related. When love leads, everything that follows is love-related. But when jealousy, envy, when negativity leads, everything that follows is going to be negativity-related. It's just something has got to lead. So you decide what's going to lead. It's up to you to decide what's going to lead.
So that was a turning. So that was what led through all the thing. All those times where I didn't lose faith at all. Because my story, I've already claimed my victory. So everything I was just thanking God for that thing. You're thanking God for. So faith
is the evidence of things not seen yet hoped for.
Call those things have been as though they were.
And so they come to life.
So I've already taken that thing. As this is my story. I was thanking God for indefinitely, but they said I should leave the country. So whose report are you going to believe? So that was what they. So when I got it, I remember when I get to that indefinitely to remain, I just said, Father, unto you, O Lord, this is it.
Oh, amazing. I had a slightly different experience in that. For me, I wanted to go back to Nigeria. I actually bought my tickets. I have 2 years I was applying for a job and it was difficult. I actually bought my ticket to go back to Nigeria. I had other opportunities to stay, either through arranged marriage and all that. I was like, nope, if I can make it in the UK, then I can make it anywhere in the world. After all, I made it in Nigeria to come here to study and bring all my money. I'm going back, bought my ticket. And then a few days before I boarded my flight, I got a call from a company I applied for like over a year ago. And like, oh, young man, would you still like to work for us? I was like, I'm actually going to Nigeria in 2 days' time, but let me think about it. Like, okay, if you want to work for us, we're happy to sponsor your visa and everything. And I still said no. I went to Nigeria, stayed in Nigeria for like 1 week. I was like, okay, I think I've been away for more than 2 years. I've lost touch with this place. The whole movement and everything. So I called the company like, is that offer still on the table? Like, yeah, absolutely. And then I came back and started working with them. So I had a slightly different story, slightly different experience, slightly different, view of the whole thing. But at the end of the day is, the book of life says, and he took the children of Israel on a journey that's supposed to be 40 days for how many years?
40
years. He could lead you round, but he will never lead you wrong. He may lead you round, but he will never lead you wrong. See, once you know, the one you serve, once you know that there is I don't know how to explain it, but I just know within me that he may lead me around, but he never leads me wrong. And because of that, I know I never make a bad decision. I never make a bad decision, a wrong decision. It was, what was his name now? It was Michael Jordan that said, Jordan, you lost how many games over your career? He's like, no, I never lost a game. I only ran out of time. I ran out of time. I never lost a game. See, he could lead you around. You could run out of time, but he never leads you wrong. My friend, it's nice to have you here. Yeah. It's nice to have, caught up with you. I hope we can share more with our audience.
Oh, yes.
It's been a great experience having you. Yeah. If you have one message for my young audience out there, back home in Nigeria, who wants to follow the route you follow, the footstep you follow, what will be your advice to them?
Just the story you just mentioned about God leading them around, but we're not leading them wrong. There's something I want to say. He said to them that you go forward and they move forward. Even where the water, I tell you, move forward. Like, how can we move forward when there's sea in front of us? The same organizations that say that I should leave the country, I work with them twice. Interviewing the people that say that I should leave. Helping them build IT infrastructure.
The same people that told you to leave the country.
For this country. So if I had gone, they would have missed the opportunity of my benefit and my experience. Of my contribution to this nation.
He's always got a plan for us.
There's always a problem. There's always a plan.
See, I say to people, you are the right man. You are the right person. You are the right person to succeed. You are the right person to be happy in life. But the question is, would you do the right thing? I know you are the right person, but the question is, would you do the right thing? Because you could have given up. And if you have given up, it would have changed the course of the whole thing. You were the right man to be here right now. But you did the right thing to be here right now. So ultimately, it's all in our hand.
People that are coming, if you're planning on coming, it's something I want to tell you. You need to make sure that you are resolute in your decision. You focus on what you're going to do and what you want to achieve. Because I'm telling you something, it's not going to be easy. Some get the easy life, you get a job, they get some people that do work permit for them and all that, everything climb. Yeah, but that doesn't mean you're not going to get an obstacle at some point as well. No doubt for sure, because this is not originally from where we come from. All right, but the obstacle that you might face might be people that you're working with in the country.
Absolutely.
But be determined, be resolute, be confident that no matter what comes your way, you're going to face the challenge. Because life doesn't promise us.
Life doesn't make it. It doesn't make it easy for anyone.
There was a book I read by John Maxwell. The first opening of that book is life is hard. First word in that book, life is hard. Like, yeah, life is hard. Life is not easy. But people talk about, people come and project. We are always projecting the right thing about, we're working leather job, working looking at it. But what goes behind the scene, people don't see.
People don't see it.
We don't know.
Don't see it.
See, we could do a taping for like some female, but what goes behind the scenes, that's what people don't see. He's a self-made millionaire. Yeah, it's fine. But what the grief and the grind that the guy went through to get to that position, that's what we don't see. And that's what people don't really show you, or they don't tell you. But in honesty, things are not that easy as they claim to be. But it will be easy if you are determined that no matter what, and you're consistent in your belief as well. You will get there. It might take time. People's story are quite different. Follow your lane and follow your path, and you will get there. That is my advice.
Absolutely. So you heard it from our guest today, Dalton, said, life is tough. In the words of Johnny Cash, life is tough. So life is rough, so you've got to be tough. You know, he's told you today that the journey is not easy. The journey may not be for the milk. But if you are persistent, if you're determined, and you have a clear direction where you're going to, you would hold on to, your destination, and you will get there. It's going to be rough. There's going to be patchy, long nights, and difficult days. But if you're insistent, you will get there. I want to thank you very much for joining us today. I want to thank you, Dalton, for blessing us with your presence and all the words of wisdom. As you can tell, he's a well-read man, someone who's read multiple books, and I enjoy having chats with this man because I was speaking to Dalton the other day, and he told me I got this quote from him. He said, all of us start from scratch, but some people will keep scratching for the rest of their life. He's one of those I loved speaking with, because every time I speak to him, I learn something. And those who know me know I'm selective. You can be with me, I'll be looking at my phone ring and I won't pick it because I just know there's nothing good that's going to come out of this. But I take his call, we talk, and then every time he's got ideas like, this is what you need to do, this is direction, this is how you strategize. So when I bring someone to this podcast, you must know it's someone who's blessing me and who I believe you are going to benefit something from. I want to thank you once again for joining us, and thank you, my brother.
Thank you.
Everything.
I really appreciate that. Thank you.
Nice to have you again.
Yeah, thank you.